Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Lucid. I am joined once again by Maryland.
Hello, everybody.
Right, and it is turn 47, and we've had. I feel like we've been treated, Maryland, to some really good turns. Like the past three turns have been just super exciting.
Yeah, they have. Very much so.
I would say the biggest development last turn, was Jotunheim deciding to go on the offensive against Ashdod, which I was just in disbelief about. And
Yes.
Ulm. He attacked Ulm too, or what would have been Ulm, but I think Satis had the province at the time.
Well, wasn't last turn also the basic end of Vanarus?
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. And Satis also is going after Ulm. So I think, one of the things we have going here is the players who have struggled up until this point, maybe except with the exception of Agartha, they're all making moves now. Like Satis is going to make his play, Jotunheim is going to make a play, and that's because they know you can't stay at this size and expect to win. So they're not giving up and turtling. They've kind of been getting ready, cutting off any kind of bleeding that's been happening, and then they're about to go out and fight. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, the big Pan versus Vanheim battle and conflict has opened up the gates for other people to try to make another play.
Right.
So the third and a little bit below players, they're all making a play, other than the ones that are just at the final tidbits.
Right. And of course we've got Pelagia in the ocean, which has been standing by, but it looks like from looking at this, they've got a few battles and they're against the Jotunheim. So it looks like even they are starting to make moves again.
I see quite a bit of pink there.
Right.
Quite a bit.
So let's take a look. First, we have a message from Ulm, so we'll start there. Kirby, that's the guy who's playing him. It was a team. We had the little Hydra thing, and Kirby was the backup.
That's right. I remember. Yeah.
Okay. Good, but more costly than we hoped for. Storming Vanarus. I mean, I don't know what he was hoping for. It was pretty clean. I don't think he lost very much.
I thought it was pretty clean.
Yeah. I would say bad storming of Bandar, but honestly, does your viewership expect much more out of the battle in Bandar's cap by now? The show must go on. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's an entertaining show. The never-ending bounce back of Bandar.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Kirby, the longer you keep Bandar alive, the better. So keep doing half-assed attempts at taking it, please. Okay, the moves are going to be a bit tight as we dance around Satis and Pan foul vaporing in every battle. So that's true. He's fighting two foul vapors nations. And
yes.
Foul vapors, by the way, is like one of the things middle-aged Ulm hates. They just, they have great penetration. I mean, they have great armor. It's like you can't hurt them, except they don't have any nature mages and they're human HP and they're super vulnerable to foul vapors. It's really annoying. You can get around it. Like you make crystal matrices, you have shamans, you can fix these things, but they're super goddamn annoying.
Yeah, it's an exasperating thing to deal with.
Right.
But it is for many, many, many nations. Right. I don't know. There's always talk about various solutions to foul vapors, and I've seen some, and some seem to work. But when you join a game with relatively unmodded, it's something you need to keep in mind.
Yeah. And I feel like this Ulm has, he has shamans, we know, lizard shamans.
Yes.
And he can do matrices and stuff. Like, I feel like he has the tools to deal with it, but it's going to be coming from the north and the south, and it's like everywhere he goes, it's going to be foul vapors. And while he can deal with it, it's going to be interesting to see if he has the tools to deal with it in this quantity, which he's probably going to see it.
Well, I'm sort of wondering if it might be the time for him to back away from major troop armies and start just counter-raiding with cheap thug solutions. It's just a thought. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I haven't thought through of how he could do it, but at least then your losses are less. You're not so likely to face a very painful army wipe.
Yeah, that's possible. Okay, just going slow and steady, and by slow and steady, I mean at war with 4 people at once and maybe winning. Well, wait, I guess he's counting Vanarus. He's definitely, his main wars right now are Pangaea and Pythium. I mean, and Isitaris.
Yes.
But he's got to finish Bandar off, and Vanarus is mostly done.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's got a lot of pans on the fire.
Right.
And juggling all that could be kind of tough.
Right. But let's not confuse ourselves. It's not a 4v1. Yeah, but
no.
Yeah. But he does have his chestnuts and a lot of fires, so. Okay, in other news, our fire gem income is now +1 for the first time in the entire game after taking Vanarus. That's rough.
Good grief. So he's going to get a King of Elemental Fire.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah, congratulations are in order. As a pat on the back to ourselves, Ulm will be summoning a King of Elemental Fire. Be interesting. I don't know if they could have done it, but to have gone for Eternal Pyre instead. I would probably take that over the King of Elemental Fire.
Yeah, but I think what's interesting here is it is highlighting Ulm's research advantage.
Yeah.
He's at Conjuration 8, so he's got potential to start doing some interesting things.
Oh man, Pelagia is right behind him too.
Yeah, there is some really low research in this game.
Vanarus, Pan is just chugging ahead in research. I mean, I'm actually surprised by Pan and Pelagia. They both are just having excellent research with nations that you don't really. I mean, Pelagia can research fine, but as a 1 cap 10 province, 12 province Pelagia, that is intense.
But I think I'm not so surprised by Pelagia as I am by Pan, because Pan, under so many threats, is obviously keeping a lot of Magi at home.
Yeah.
A significant amount of Magi at home. But he hasn't been cheap about mage support of his armies.
Yeah.
He just must have a lot of Magi.
Yeah, it also gives you a sense of, for these guys to actually, you could say, like, what's the purpose of that coalition against him? Vanarus was certainly trying to deal a death blow to him, but to actually kill off Pan, you were going to have to fight through his whole mage corps, which, as we can see by this, was quite substantial.
It is, yeah.
So that's interesting. Okay, so...
we're pretty sure that Ulm has used a lot of research boosters, but I would be surprised if Pan has been able to do much in the way of research boosters.
Well, he's been for a while he was probably buying them from Ulm, but...
That's possible, yeah.
They're probably not doing business right now that they're fighting each other. I mean,
no.
Yeah. I wonder who's winning on forts. I'm guessing it's Pan. Oh no. Isn't this strange? Vanheim has the most forts, but has horrible research. That is a paradox to me.
A little bit, yeah. But he's put out a lot of Magi to fight.
That's true.
And he took some heavy losses.
That's true.
His mage corps took some heavy losses. So, yeah, it's an interesting comment.
Pangaea is down in forts. That's honestly, forts is one of the graphs I look at the most for me personally when I'm playing. Not to see if I'm winning, like going to win or lose the game, but just the trajectory. Like, I feel like if I'm never losing forts and I'm gaining forts, I'm in an okay position. But like, if I were playing Pan and I'm like lost 2 forts now, that it just makes me worried. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
And you're not counterbalancing the 2 you've lost with new forts. He's like lower forts than he was 10 turns ago. So, but again, I mean, it's interesting. Do you want to do this, Marilyn? Maybe we look at each of the graphs. We haven't really done a graph deep dive, and
we tended to just drop into them. Right. So yeah.
But let's do a deep dive and talk about who's position 1, 2, and 3.
Well, I think it's safe to say that the ones down in the 1, 2, 3, 4 forts are the ones that are not going to be in the game much longer.
Right. Yeah, we don't need to worry too much about.
Kind of. So then,
we can flip some of these off. Mictlan, we'll get rid of some of the chatter here. Satis will keep in there. Yeah. Okay. And Pythium. Okay. Wait, Vanarus should be out too. Oh, and one more. Oh, wow.
Jotun?
Oh my god.
What?
Jotun only has... Isn't that something? Oh, well, he does have foreign recruit mages, so he can get hags.
But
that is not very many forts. I mean, that is like Fort Mountain.
That's like year 1 level of forts.
Yeah.
That's only 2.
Or hey, for my Ubar game, it was like a turn 30, year 3 level forts.
Yeah.
But
I think the interesting one is that does highlight that Satis has a long way to go to get back in the game. He's behind. Yeah.
I mean, he's honestly got a similar number of... See, Satis is a nation that doesn't need a ton of forts because the Marsh Masters are so goddamn expensive that you can spend all of your money with not that many forts.
That's true.
But let's start with provinces. So provinces, number 1 by a margin is Vanarus. Vanheim.
Yeah.
They got knocked down a little bit. This is them losing some of the stuff from the Pangaea business. But they're a solid, probably 15-20% ahead of Pangaea. And what's interesting now is, it's not Ashdod. Who is number 2 now? Ind. What? Ind is tied for number 2 in provinces. Wow.
Yeah. So that's potentially a lot of gems, a lot of gold.
Yeah.
And Ulm is holding his own, with the rating, counter rating.
Yeah.
And of course, he just gained another capital, so that's very significant.
Right, yeah. Ulm has kind of popped back up here, looking pretty sharp.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is interesting. And then down, Pelagia is still just scraping Pelagia, of all the people we have left, is the lowest still.
Yeah.
He's lower than Satis, he's lower than Jotunheim, but he's number 2 in research.
But all he's done is a little bit of raid, a little counter raid.
Yeah.
Throughout the game. That's all he's really done. So he's never made very much in the way of risk. He's been a very risk-averse player.
It's I think there's a few aspects to this. I think on one hand, he won the last tournament, and turn 0, there was already that message, like the thread where people were talking about like the I forgot what they called it, the Coast Guard or something.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. They even formed a special Discord for it that I was on for a little while, and then I left because I didn't want spoilers.
Yeah. So it's not active anymore, but it's interesting. He's done a few things by keeping this low profile. One is there's nothing for anybody to get by attacking him. He doesn't really have land provinces worth taking.
That's right.
And 2, the fact that he won the last tournament doesn't matter that much for Diplo in this game, because he can just be like, okay, are you going to be worried about me? Or are you going to be worried about Vanheim and Pangaea, which are over twice my size? Right. And he's been, I think, one of the things we've heard from the players is he's doing a lot of behind the strings maneuvering in terms of diplomacy. So
yeah, I've been seeing some of that. I haven't followed it too closely because I just don't want to read spoilers. But in the commentary, it's generally the commentary of current series is just from what you've posted to date. So it doesn't tend to give too many spoilers.
Right.
I was reading over that there's been quite a bit of backroom dealing.
Yeah. But
we could use that.
This is like tactical. Like in some ways, him having this low province count is super good for deflecting heat off of him and it's able to allow him to achieve what he wants in terms of diplomacy easier.
Right.
And it would be a problem being that small, but he's number 2 in research, which is the thing he cares about because he's trying to get to Arcane Nexus. and Maelstrom and that other stuff, because that's how he's going to win with Pearl Farmer and Wish. Those are the things he needs. So, okay. Okay, so that's provinces. Forts we've already looked at. Income, this is very close. So this has Ulm tied with Vanheim and Pangaea, like neck and neck. And then behind them is End and Ashdod. And who's this? Oh, Xibalba's actually. So there's like a tier 1, which is Ulm, Vanheim and Pangaea, and then a tier 2, which is End, Xibalba, and Ashdod. And then again, we have Pelagia at the bottom, in a tier 3 with Satis and Jotunheim.
Well, Pelagia's income's pretty good for their province count.
Yeah.
So that's probably because of his growth scales. The one I notice here is End's income is not very good. He must have got a lot of low-income provinces.
Yeah. Considering he was one of the big 3 for provinces, but he was not one of the big 3 for income. He also has a pretty heavy bless, and so his scales might not be quite as good. Yeah,
those are distinctly factors.
So that's interesting. Gym income. Oh my God.
Ooh.
Are you seeing this?
Oh boy, I am.
In some ways, this is the most important graph too. Like gym income matters a ton in this game.
Well, we have 2 gem globals up, right? Or only 1?
2.
2. Oh, even with 2 gem globals up, Vanarus is still massively, or Vanheim is still massively in the lead for gems. My gosh, he's had success with site searching.
I mean,
he's got a second capital, but look at that jump he's been making with his raiding. That's a lot of gems he's stealing from Pan.
When I see something like this, though, this is remote site searching. I don't think this is just raiding. I mean, we can check. Let's look right here on the graph. Let's see if this is just raiding.
I'm looking the next turn from you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right about there.
That's right about there where he went up in provinces too.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, it was before.
But I'm sure.
Wait, let me click.
I'm sure he's continuing to search. Find those, doing that careful check of how many sites does a province have. And is it worth another search?
No, this was from raiding in a large part, I think. But some of this is remote site searching too, I'm sure. Because we can look. We can just... I don't know why I was flipping back to the province graph, because he was attacking Pangaea, and so we can see Pangaea went down by a big amount, right? But some of this was going... Only like this much went to...
Oh, you're right.
To Vanheim, yeah. And the rest went to like Ulm or End or somebody, right? But he hasn't continued to go down. He's been pretty, mostly, let's say, flat over this period, while at the same time, Vanheim's been, blasting out gems.
Well, one thing that Vanheim might be doing that we haven't noticed is he might have decided that now is the time to diversify his magic pass by summoning up stuff to get more searching.
Yeah.
That's always a possibility. Because he's got a kind of rainbow blast, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so that would... He could also have the rainbow running around site searching. Which, if it's one of the ones with a bit of stealth, or he's given it some stealth.
This is interesting. This really makes me think. He's number 1 in provinces. He's basically tied for number 1 in income. He's number 1 in forts.
Yep.
And he's number 1 in gym income. But this one not by a little bit. This one, he's like in a whole different class compared to everybody else.
Yes. That's very significant. But his research is
garbage. His research is garbage.
But his the slope is increased significantly.
Yeah. What this spells to me? In some ways, you don't win an award for finishing research. It's not like you finish research and it's like, good game, you win. You have to be able to use the research you get. And to some extent, you get a certain amount of research, and that's all the research you're going to need to win fights for the next, 15 turns.
Yeah, there are very much critical target
Right.
spots. Like a lot of times, level 7
Right.
in a number of paths is very, very important. Level 8 in a few paths becomes very important. But the level 7s, sometimes the 6s. So sometimes you can get by with just stopping at those target points.
Yeah, and so I think his alt 7's like a little bit up here. It's like it's up and coming. But to me, when I look at all these graphs, the fact that he's not doing well in research, but some of this makes sense, right? Because he's been spending a lot of mage turn site searching and doing remote spells,
and a lot of forging.
And a lot of forts.
Or forging.
Oh, forging, yeah.
Is what
oh, right.
Yeah. And using quite a few gems in battle.
Right.
Not a huge amount, but...
But to me, this says that in some ways, and we'll look at the army graph next, but in some ways, he has the most plunder available when you look at the gem income available. Like if you want to take provinces and get gems, he has the biggest stock of plunder, but and also maybe has some of the lesser ability to defend it compared to maybe some other players. Now, of course, that's tempered by the fact that, he's a good player. He's got lots of thugs. He's got a lot of mages, presumably, that can defend his stuff, but...
And he's got tremendous mobility.
Right. Yeah, he does have a lot of Iron Hairs, too. I mean, his army graph is... Before, he was, like, way under, like, half of Pangaea's army size, but now he's only, like... But I guess that's because he switched back here when he was half of Pangaea's army size. That was because he didn't have many Van Sacreds. But here, he's got a lot of Iron Hairs, which are inflating his army some. So, I mean, Iron Hairs are great units, but...
So I see, we expected to see some serious dips for Pan and Vanheim.
Yeah.
The interesting one, though, is Ind. I think that's Ind is just suffering continuous, fairly high attrition. Or is that Ashdod?
Well, this is Ind. Ind isn't very high attrition.
No, it's Ashdod is suffering. Ashdod's suffering.
I think he's been losing like slingers, and he lost 20 Anakites in a fight, but he's been walloping Xibalba.
Yeah, he has.
Like if we look at Xibalba, they're like half of where they were.
Yeah, they've taken just a beating.
Yeah.
So if comparative losses are good, I just noticed that kind of steady dip, but then he's been steadily at war.
Yeah. Okay.
Ulm's army graph is shockingly stable.
Yeah. For all the conflicts he's been in.
Yeah.
It's one of the nice things about being a scales nation is you really can't afford to replace losses. You just pump out troops. Yeah. It's like, I lost a bunch. Well, it's going to lower my upkeep and going to keep on recruiting those troops.
We definitely want to look at ascension points because that was one of the requests is talk about thrones. So it's,
And actually the throne leader right now. How about that?
Yeah. But this is not indicating to me anybody's...
Yeah, I don't think this matters much
got
right now.
anything towards a rush available right at the moment.
Yeah. Dominion, we haven't really looked at that. Pangaea's in the front. Vanheim's right behind him.
The only
this
one
doesn't matter that much. The only thing that would matter is if Pangaea started blood sacrificing a lot, or Vanheim. I think they can both do it.
The only one that's looking a little dangerous is Jotun, with a steady decline.
Oh, yeah.
If he keeps at that decline, he's only got about 10 more turns.
Well, he doesn't have many forts either, right? So he doesn't have many temples. Like I was mentioning, he had these foreign recruit mages he could get out of labs and forests, which is great for keeping the research going while not having any forts, but that's not going to help him on the Dominion front.
I haven't seen anybody Dominion killed in a long time, but that looks a little threatening.
That does.
Because that is a, and for all we know, Pelagia could be putting shade mails on Bishopfish and parking Bishopfish all over in Jotun.
Well, that would be dangerous when you've got a Kraken that can drop into friendly Dominion now. So.
Yeah.
Well, and he's got that. He's got that throne on Jotun's border that's probably pumping out Dominion.
Yeah, we should, when we get there, we should be sure the candles are turned on.
Yeah, let me see if I can do that.
Just have a quick look at the thrones, since we were just on that topic.
Amathera's dominion? Okay, so his cap circle is written in water. So this is Pelagia dominion. This is, oh man, he's done it. He's fucking done it. Okay, shit. The army's moved out. I told you he was waiting for this army to get far enough away from the cap that he could beat the army to his cap. He's totally done that. He's totally done that.
He's blocked it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's probably gonna magic phase with the Kraken here or something. I don't know. I will see. Okay, so let's close out the score graph thing, and we'll talk about Ulm to kind of keep some semblance of order. So, position 1, who do you think, Marilyn?
Oh, Van, still.
Okay. Position 2, who do you think?
It's a toss-up between Pan and Ind. Although,
we're looking at. You think Ind really is position 2?
Well, it's got a lot of territory.
But if we combine, like,
I don't know.
If we look at gym income, Ulm is number 2, Pan is 3. If we look at income, these 3 are tied.
Yeah.
I mean, the province graph really, I think, is not nearly as important as the income and gym graph. Because really, if you think about it, provinces are just something you have to defend in order to get income and gym income.
That is correct. Yeah. One of the key design elements of the game is that resources are tied to land.
Right. But
it's a game based on that kind of core premise.
Right. And Pelagia can break that by setting up a wish farm with Nexus. But, aside from that, you have to have land. But ideally, you would have like 20 provinces that were worth 3 times the average of a normal province rather than 60 provinces that were worth the same amount. So, I think from these two graphs, there's is it the same top 3? Okay, in these two graphs, which are the two most important, arguably, Ulm, Pangaea, and Vanheim are top 3 in each of them.
That is correct. I do agree with you. Yeah.
And actually, what's interesting about this is Ulm is ahead of Pangaea in both of these, which I wasn't expecting. If you look at this one, Ulm, is about 5% ahead of Pangaea in income, and about 10% ahead of them in gym income.
Ulm's problem is that he's got a lot of, as we said, pans on the fire.
Yeah.
And, can he keep up a level of, but at least Vanarus is almost done.
Yeah. I'm just going to say that I know I can't justify it because Pelagia is way down here in this graph and they're way down here in this graph. I've just played enough games with Arco and I know how his mind works. Pelagia, I can't tell you he's position 2, but god damn it, I feel like it. I feel like he's tied for position 2 right now. I can't justify it except with anything except the research graph, but I just feel that way.
Well, there is an advantage to being able to stay behind the leaders and not take a lot of attrition, not take a lot of damage. You do slowly build up all of your power.
Yeah.
And then you can come barreling out.
Yeah.
And become a huge threat.
I wouldn't recommend new players do that, though. Because generally, if you sit around as a new player, you're going to get whooped. But with Arco playing Pelagia, it's different. I can't explain why, but
it's also the single water nation in a land game.
Yeah.
So that he's more or less completely defensible.
Right. He can be greedy.
Yes.
Okay, so position. Who do you think's position 2? Do you think Ulm or Pangaea or Pelagia? Or do you think it's Ind?
I still think as long as Ulm doesn't sort of fall apart in the multiple directions he's got to deal with, that research lead of his forging capability, and the tools he had at his disposal, that's pretty powerful. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
I don't know the player as well, but he's been doing a fine job except for a couple of little things like, finish off Bandar Log, please.
Right. And he's going to be getting to Alt 9 and stuff in not very long. So he'll have
exactly
Army of Gold and stuff on all his squads.
Exactly.
And, even with Weapons of Sharpness, Army of Gold, I mean, the guys are going to be, 30-something protection? 31 protection on his normal troops? So even with Weapons of Sharpness, they're going to take a few hits to kill.
We were also talking about counters to foul vapors. Mass Lock is not bad.
Yeah.
On human hit point troops.
Yeah.
It's not the best, but it's a heck of a lot better than nothing.
Well, I think the problem with that is it only takes one the luck doesn't block any of the poison damage except the one that would kill you. And then it blocks one poison damage and the next one might kill you. So I don't think it's actually very good against foul vapors.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Yeah. No, obviously poison.
But it's going to be good against white centaurs, and other stuff. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked, I think, graphs till we're a little blue in the face. Let's take a look at Ulm. Wait, do we have a message from? We have a message from Satis too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's read this, and then we'll do the Ulm Satis. Before the first attack on Ulm began, I made a critical mistake, not helping Vanarus more with their cap defense. That being said, I feel like they could have won with a turn 1 caster only flight fire resistance, caster only lightning resistance, and wrathful skies, all of which they had. And a gym bait by me would have helped.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, maybe.
See, we talked earlier that Vanheim made that play where he showed that high level of coordination where he gem baited for another player. We haven't seen much of that in this game.
Yeah. And, Wrathful Skies is very scary, and it's very good against Ulm, but... Storm would have been very good because Ulm was doing flight. I think he did actually cast Storm. But...
Yes, I believe he did, and the caster got killed.
Yeah.
Or ran away.
Yeah. So, I probably he could have done something. I don't know. Right now, the war is like dancing on thin ice. I can't afford a single big loss. My plan is to raid and whittle down Ulm with assassinations and only strike in force when I'm sure of victory.
Okay.
I feel him here, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Ulm does send out generally a lot of commanders. So assassination is going to be a challenge.
Yeah, and some of these Ulm things, especially with my mod on, are very hard to assassinate. Like the Black Priests love casting Iron Blizzard. And you're going to do Swarm Spam, but turn 1 Iron Blizzard, very likely to murk you.
Yeah.
And he's been putting gems on dudes for Earth Elementals too, and those guys are going to kill Swarm casters. So
yeah.
You're right. It could be pretty tough for him to win via assassinations. But Satis is also right. He does not have deep pockets. He cannot afford to take major losses.
No, that's correct.
And if we look at the research, this is always a good thing to look at when two nations are about to fight. Like, look at Satis's research and look at Ulm's.
Yeah, I know.
Ulm's 3 times Satis's. So, yeah.
So, foul vapors and skelly spam, Satis won't have a whole heck of a lot more than that.
Well, yeah, and Wailing wins because he's got his god and all, but yeah.
Right.
Okay. So let's see what happened. So Satis trying to gas Ulm here, it looks like. But Ulm has shamans. Okay, foul vapors.
Right.
This one's the Communion Master. And so he's going to be able to do Serpent's Blessing this turn.
Big one?
Serpent's Blessing. There it is.
Yeah, so he's pretty much got Foul Vapor's plays countered.
Yeah, just blessed his own troops with Iron Blizzard, though.
Yeah. To kill a couple of PD. Yeah, that didn't particularly work. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, nothing would have died if that Iron Blizzard hadn't nuked those Guardians, so...
Yeah, I saw that. I've got to deal with a phone call. It might be critical. I'll just be a minute.
Okay, just come back when you're ready. I'll keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep going, guys. We've got... Okay. Satis was attacking out. I think just to come back, he had a medium-sized force here, and he left one Marshmaster behind to set up a Foul Vapors trap. And he moved the main, but small, raiding squad off. And... Oh, wait, no. They were already here, huh? Okay. Because he's got... Satis is the one with PD here. And he's got Foul Vapor set up. And on Ulm's side, he doesn't have a way to deal with Foul Vapors, but he does have Earth Elementals. Wow. I don't actually understand how Satis lost this. I think what happened is he gassed his own PD, and I think the PD caused him to take a route. But I want to look at this. Wooden Warriors. This seems well scripted by Satis. Like, if he told me what his plan was, and I saw this battle at the beginning, I would say, of course he'd win this. So he gasses his own PD. And these long dead die. I think actually the whole problem was sending these long dead in. Because enough of them died where it triggered... For the way that HP routes work is there's basically separate but related pools. You have the PD pool of HP, and you have the non-PD pool. So like the units you bring in an army. And they're on separate but connected HP pools. So... Once the PD routes, you've increased the likelihood that the rest of your army will HP route. And I don't know the exact math. But if none of these guys routed, it would have been okay. Or if none of these guys died, it would have been okay. But it's the fact that some of the long dead ran forward, that then the combined effect of the PD dying and running with some of these guys dying and running is what caused the HP route for Satis. Because they should have probably won this, but... Ends up Ulm fighting through Foul Vapors and pulling a win out there. Actually, a little surprised. Vanarus scouts. Okay, arouse hunger from Pangaea. There's a message from Pangaea too. We'll come up and focus on that maybe when Maryland's back. We'll keep focused on the Southern Theater of War for now. So. Okay, Ulm attacks Satis in 1. A medium commitment army that's going to struggle versus Foul Vapors, but no Foul Vapors is there. And just some scouts getting patrolled out on top of Vanarus's cap. Oh, man. Okay, we have to watch this now. So, Xibalba was getting greedy and trying to vulture... some of this juicy Vanarusian land. And Vanarus comes out with the small squad of archers and a few guys that are going to do... What is this guy? I don't even know what that guy... This guy's going to do fire elementals. No? He's just completely off script? Oh no, there goes the fire elementals. Was it this guy? Oh no, that guy did it. And yeah, fire elementals disrespect the shit out of toads. That's embarrassing. I mean, this is a fair amount of losses. It's 40 times 10, 400 gold, plus one of these guys. 500 gold of stuff, probably. Thereabouts. Ooh. And Xibalba doesn't have deep pockets right now to be absorbing these kind of losses. Okay, so that is the Southern Theater of War. Ulm has basically just said, okay, we're going to deal with some of the Satis raiding, and we're going to kind of hang tight. He's not wanting to get risky and go venture out. He's just going to kind of kill Satis' stuff. Which, if you combine that with what Satis has said, which he's going to basically be waging a very slow war, and try to whittle him down with assassins, this is going to be a very stagnant front from what it looks like, because Ulm is not showing any signs of wanting to roll out and conquer Sitis, and Sitis is doing very low commitment stuff. So we'll see how that goes. My experience with this is generally like two guys where both players are wanting to do low commitment raiding is usually a lose-lose. Normally one player needs to try to kill the other player, because it normally isn't going to work itself out where two players doing light raiding is in anyone's best interest. But, Sitis needs to make a play, and this is the way he's decided is the best way to do it. So we'll see what happens. But he's kind of wanting Ulm to attack into him, and then he can parry the blow and then counterattack. And I don't think Ulm is going to do that. So it's kind of interesting. While we're on the subject, let's look at Bandar Log. So Bandar's pinging to see what Ulm's got outside. And we see a thug combo. We've got this guy, Bane of Heresy, 3 times versus larger. Interesting. And of course the thug we've seen before. So he's got the little thug combo. Okay. And the fort is cracked, but he doesn't have the balls to storm it again. I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit. We'll see if he comes and tries to storm it next turn. Okay, and so we're moving. There's a chance we don't get Maryland back for this episode, so it's going to feel weird talking through this without having him to talk to or chime in. But we'll keep going. So we're going to move to the Pangaean front, and before we do that, we're going to read the Pangaean message. This is one of those turns that's actually pretty easy from a decision-making perspective, but still feels bad nonetheless. I have to respect that Kris's god showed up, so it's likely, and Kris, by the way, is Vanheim, so it's likely that he both is casting something impactful and is gating in more dudes, so that I can't rush that fight blind. At the same time, I can't waste my pretender turns, and I know that he's not going to move into the province with the water and earth sites because he either wants to patrol the throne or move it northwest to consolidate with his extra Einherrs. Either way, I need to ping those 2 provinces and not pick a real fight either. And my lesser half stack is going to go get itself some gems that used to be mine. So I guess that's raiding. And my pretender stack is going to go into the Ulmish stack. That's just lost its nature gems, and which frankly wouldn't have scared me even if it had them, since it's a retail evocation stack and I have Hal and Emps running. You back with us, Maryland?
I am back.
Okay.
So this is Pan, eh?
Yeah, this is Pan.
I'll read it. You keep it going. I'll just read it along.
All right. As to why it feels bad, I don't have enough stuff to kill Ind yet, and I'm not moving into position to retake the Silver Throne right away. So even if I avoid major losses, I'm not making any major gains, and I'm still being threatened up north by the Ind stack that I should be able to destroy, but just haven't managed to gather the resources to beat. Fighting 1v4 sucks, even if it's more like a 1.5v3 or something like that in terms of practical effect. Yeah, he's not really a 1v4, but kind of. I mean,
I guess so.
He's fighting, he's probably got, a third of Ulm's attention. He's got all of Vanheim's attention. And he's got half of Vin's attention. So that's 1.8 v1.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, almost 2v1.
It's a pretty chaotic turn.
So, okay, by the way, Maryland, to catch you up, we looked at what's happening on this front between Ulm and Sitis. Sitis was basically waiting for Ulm to push in so that he could kind of parry the blow and then counterattack. And Ulm is basically just chilling. He's stopping the raiding. He doesn't feel the need to be very aggressive.
That would have been, I think, what I would choose in that situation, right? Because it's to Ulm's advantage to let Sitis push into cold. Right,
that's also true. I hadn't thought of that.
Well, it's pretty useful.
Yeah.
So, and he's got forts almost every direction that Ind can push now.
Or Sitis.
Sitis can push. So how far can Sitis push, really?
Yeah. Good questions.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
And then, so switching our attention, do we have a message from Vanheim? We don't. Okay. So switching our attention to the northern front, we read Pan's message. So the province Pangaea had a big army, I think, here and here, these past turns. And we were speculating, I was speculating that he would move this army here and he would move this army here. But instead, he took this army and moved it here to try to go pick a fight with this Olmish army.
Oh, okay.
And this army by Pangaea is a thick stack. It's got his god in here to do
Storm?
Fog Warriors.
Fog Warriors?
Yeah, and then it's got these guys who are going to be dropping probably Marble Warriors and maybe Army of Gold or something, I don't know. Or not Army of Gold.
Maybe.
He's got this guy who's going to be dropping who knows what.
Relief. Mastery Gen.
But we know he's also doing, weapons of sharpness and stuff. This is weapons of sharpness on centaurs, especially once he gets Fog Warriors up, will just massacre Olmish stuff.
Yeah. That's a tough army to fight. But if he pushes it too far from his capital, then he runs the risk of Van making a push to his capital.
Yeah.
You know, if we look back at the map, I would say that army has to kind of stay in about a 2-3 province circle from Pan's capital. He can't really push it too far.
Yeah, that's true, I think. He definitely can't go sit and park it on top of Ulm's fort for a few turns and start taking infrastructure, I don't think.
I don't think he can, no. So does Ulm just dodge it or yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, this army's in deep shit. It's got to figure out a way out. You know, we'll take a look at it. This army is going to get wrecked by that Pangaean army. I don't even think it would kill anything.
No, it doesn't have much of a hope at all.
Yeah.
A few Iron Blizzards might do some chip damage.
Yeah.
But, so where does it have to go? It has to go southwest.
I think it has to run from it. I think it just has to flee. Like, come this way and circle back. And he's...
Oh, I didn't notice that Agartha has that little pond.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost should probably get around to taking that. He's got a Titan, too. They can just walk in there. And it's a nice province.
Yeah.
1 death income and 60 gold.
Okay.
I mean, I still think this war does not benefit Ulm at all. And I don't think it benefits Pangaea, because like we were just saying, while Pangaea can certainly kill this army, with Vanheim in the war, he can't really go sit on top of any Ulmish forts.
No, that's what I'm saying is Vanheim sitting there with that big army 2 away from Pan's cap. It could leap out at any moment.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I think Pan's got to use cost-effective, inexpensive, low-risk moves, which is what he's doing, right? I mean, that's
in part.
More or less.
Oh, we've got a cool battle here. Let's flash this up. I don't want to spoil it. So on this side, we've got oh my God. We've got a murder stack of thugs. Murder stack. And his god.
Ooh. Oh boy.
Oh my goodness. And then this guy to do air elementals. Did Pangaea... Please tell me you didn't bring any... Oh my God. You brought stuff.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be a double wipe. That's my prediction. Just looking at this is going to be carnage.
There's interesting things that I saw. Okay, the spoiler is I saw this province was controlled by Vanheim.
I did too.
But looking at it, not knowing how it would turn out, there's some interesting interactions. Like if they can do Earth Meld or Vine Arrow or Entangle, there's no thugs on the Pangaean side. None of these guys are thugs.
Or even sleep.
Yeah, or even sleep. if they can do things to mitigate that Vanheim defense, these White Centaur will tear them up. But I think if it's just buffs on White Centaur, if that's the only thing, I don't think that's going to go terribly well. The other X factor in this is we at least have one lifelong protection.
I saw that, yeah.
And that will be significant with not many enemies on the other side, because, you know, it's going to occupy a fair number of attacks. Uh-oh, I saw Storm go up. So that Storm is going to make it so the imps have to walk, and it potentially could be... Oh, we've got Foul Vapors up. But these guys have Shock Resistance 12. Okay. Is he going to do Wrathful Skies is the question.
Well, he put up some imps too.
Yeah.
Because we've got the Vanheim imps.
Yep.
Okay, the air elementals, they can get through the storm.
Yeah, but they're going to die pretty fast.
Oh, where did he throw that blade wind at?
I'll be honest, I can't tell. I have no idea.
It threw a blade wind. Is Howl's not up?
Yeah, I don't know.
That was weird.
Wailing Winds is up too. So that is another factor in this. You know, these Pangaean guys can run at any time. Okay, let's zoom in here because we need to see. There's interesting things about this though, like, oh my gosh, this thug is just blowing people up with this firebrand.
Yeah.
You know,
the front line is holding. It's just two thugs holding the front line with some phantasmals.
Right. And they're getting hit. Oh no, they're cold resistant 20. So this, we've seen Frozen Heart getting cast, but I think it's targeting imps. What they need is Petrify coming out. Yeah, they need these mages up here casting Entangle or other things like that. Oh, he's got Defense 0. That looks like a dead thug to me. You don't want to be Defense 0 next to Centaur. Nope, he's dead. One thug down.
And some of the other thugs got into the back line. Or the Centaurs, sorry.
Yeah. Now, right now, it's looking like Pangaea wins this. Storm... Oh, no. Wailing Winds is down, so he's killed the Wailing Winds caster. And I think you're right. I think the Centaur clump in the back line is what's been doing a lot of work.
Oh.
Where's the god?
The god's gone. Did it die?
See, totally fucking died. He's dead. He's very dead. He's a white mage now.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. Wait, how does Pangaea lose this? There's one guy left. He's asleep with 0 defense and 15 HP. And Pangaea's casting Charm on him.
Oh.
Maybe we miss out. Maybe this tile was owned by Pangaea.
It is. No, this is over.
This looks like an unwinnable battle at this point.
That guy is asleep.
He's fucked. Okay. Oh, Pangaea did win it. So the spoiler was a false spoiler.
Oh, good grief.
Oh my god.
Good grief. Oh, that was carnage.
Oh my god. He got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
I mean, he got a Van Jarl. There were so many. I mean, we had to go back and look how many gems were in this. I mean, this was
20 or 30. Well, gear-wise,
yeah, we'll count.
Some of those were 40 gem.
Yeah, 25. Starting off with 25 with the Sage. 20. We'll call this 10. 35. So that's plus 25. 60.
God.
Oh my god. I don't know if I can count this high, Maryland. 60, 75. Oh my god. 85. 95. And now he's going to get a forge discount. We're not counting that, but
yeah.
95, 105, 115, 120, 130, 140, 100, 50, 160, 170, 180, 185, 190. Oh my god.
Are we talking almost 300 gems?
Oh my god. 200, 210, 220, 230.
Oh my gosh.
240. Some change. Okay, we'll call it 245. Oh my. And then the god. We haven't looked at the god yet. And the god had 240,
well,
250.
20.
Yeah. Oh, wait. 250, 260, 270. And then we'll say call this 20 more. So that's 290.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking
And
about.
this guy, we didn't count him. We counted the sage.
Oh
wow. My god. And some of these guys were magic phased in. Like this guy was magic phased in. So there were the gems to like place them here too. Vanheim, it'll be interesting. Kris, if you always comment on these videos too, so I'm sure you're going to get this. Put in the comments something what you were thinking about. Because I'm going to tell you from looking at this, the fact he magic phased stuff in, the fact that this is a reasonably predictable move. And that like this was the Pangaea stack that he saw in an adjacent province that came over here. He had scripted this with a plan, and I think something went not according to plan, aside from him just losing. I think, like, a spell didn't go off, somebody got sniped, somebody got seduced, something happened, I think.
Could be. This is one of those cases, though, where this is where I don't like to send all mage thug armies without some chaff. Because what happened here is the white centaurs got around those two frontline thugs because they weren't wide enough to hold.
Yeah. Well,
and
yeah.
that's the risk when you don't hold your flanks, especially against something fast like a white centaur.
Well, it's kind of the same things with thugs and super combatants. Like, it's possible that he had done a test game, that he figured out how, the pan formation, he had it set up, and he figured that these guys would just mulch through it. And then it just didn't work that way. The things with thugs and super combatants is it's very fickle. Like one thing you miscalculated or one buff not going off or one spell not going off, and all of a sudden the whole plan can fall apart.
Yeah.
But to add these things back up, because I think we're at 290, right? This one is 25, and this one is... so 25 and 290, that puts us at 315, 325... 335, and then I think it was 340.
Somewhere in that range.
I mean,
boy, that's an expensive loss.
Yeah,
that is brutal.
That is brutal. Oh, it is brutal. And the thing is, Pangaea has a ton of commanders here. He probably got most all of that equipment. Like Pangaea probably profited from this 100 gems. I bet. Yeah, my kind of rule of thumb is you get about 30%. Yeah.
If it's enemy gear.
Oh my God. In some ways, this may have been more impactful than the fight on his capital. I mean, not really, but kind of. I mean, it's minus 300 for Vanheim and plus 100 for Pangaea. Like, that is huge.
Ouch. Okay.
Whew.
Other than that, we got little raids and little counter raids.
We'll look at some of the... we'll see if these are budget thugs or fully decked out thugs. Budget thug.
But the budget there.
Budget, not super budget. And then, I mean, honestly, all they need a lot of times is just a frost brand.
Yeah.
And then this pretty budget.
Pretty budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty basic.
This province, not budget.
Yeah.
Oh man. My heart goes out to you though. It hurts losing that much stuff. Oh my God.
It does.
Yeah.
That's when I have to put the game and close it for a day, and so I don't do a rage quit or something, or start ranting and raving at somebody.
We've all been there. We've all been there. Just don't have the emotional fortitude to face that turn for a while.
Yeah, just exactly. Put it all away. sign off Discord. Don't write emails. Go read a book.
Yeah.
Have a hot bath.
Have a hot bath. That's one of mine. My trademark moves when I have a bad turn.
Yeah.
Go on a run. That works well too.
I'm not much of a runner, but I'll do a dog walk.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. I feel like I almost need an emotional break after watching that. That's painful.
How's our time?
We're at an hour. Yeah. So we probably need to scoot because we've just done one conflict. So just a bunch of light rating here within. Does N send us a message? No.
Okay.
But it looks like he's up in provinces in this war right now. Pangaea's been pretty distracted. And he's got Agartha's cap cracked too.
Yeah, he's securing territory, and that's important. He can always fall back a little bit as long as he doesn't lose these sieged forts.
Yeah.
He can do a little bit of the Russian front. You don't fall back until you can bring up the reinforcements.
Yeah. Ind is a weird nation, in my opinion. Like, I feel like if you're playing Ind, you kind of always want to be in a war, but you kind of also want to focus, like, you want very controlled wars. Like, you don't want Pangaea stealthy raiding and knocking down all your temples or destroying all your unforted labs, or, like, those are really annoying for you. But you kind of always want to be in a war because, like, you want your cannibals to have places to go. You have various kinds of free spawn you can send off to war.
Right.
You have a lot of unrest causing units. You kind of want them in other people's land. But I feel like now they're kind of in a phase where they kind of need still to hunker down and need Agartha. So I don't know. I still feel like they should probably get out of this war with Pangaea, especially now that Pangaea has been kicking the teeth in of Vanheim.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay. So who have we got
that's
left?
that. Let's go to the messages. So we've done Sitis and Ulm and Pangaea. We have yet to do Ashdod, and we'll read Uruk's message real quick. Can someone please come take my last fort? I want to die, and this is starting to take too long.
Yes, well,
there's a solution. You write out. You ping what's out here, and you fucking write out, my friend.
Yeah, that might be all that's left.
Blow the horn in Helm's Deep. Go right out.
Who knows if there's anything inside it?
Yeah. I mean, God, it's a bunch of bats. He can probably kill it. There's probably hardly any mages on top. Or not bats, toads.
I think Uruk has something inside there, but not much. If I remember correctly, it was pretty small, the remnants.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so we have a message from Ashdod. Should be real interesting turn to see what dirty assassin tricks Xibalba has for my god on his fort. If he realizes it's just him on top, could be real dirty. I'm magic phasing some air 2s in just to dilute the chances of a disaster. In other news, and let's go check and see what happened here, because I can't remember which of his forts it was on. I think it was this one. We still see a divine glyph here, so it didn't get assassinated.
Okay. No.
In other news, Jotunheim has successfully extorted me with an army on my border at the exact time when my armies are about to break into Xibalba proper. Kudos to him for the timing. Trying my hardest to turn a negative into a positive, the terms of the agreement are totally one-sided to him because, Xibalba's about to crack. He gets the Throne of Fortune and the Throne of... and the Air Mage fort back. In return, we nap plus a minimum set duration. My greatest concern is that he simply brings those forts down and then immediately cancels the nap, effectively giving me nothing. That's Book of Grudges worthy if he plays me that hard. I've tried to mitigate it. The real-life war fatigue has set in. Need to finish off Xibalba and get some eco turns. Starting to pump out demons and angels and the undead crazies so that I have some meat with my giants. My first 5 seer come out of my cap this turn. Move to Blood 2 there from a central location. Next up for research is Conjuration 6 for the Hashmals to speed the Xibalba rating. A Black Tower Shield and Frost brand plus the Poison Resistance Bless should be good enough to handle any skeletons plus bugs and PD. They're excellent raiders. Fire Shield, Awe, Ethereal, Invulnerability, and 34 mat move. Just 0 protection.
I'm not familiar with those units, but I'm gonna quickly look them up for my own reference.
Yeah, they look like they're little demon angels coming out of a portal. That's what the little graphic looks like. Just 0 protection and prone to taking PD arrows, hence the shield. Their only real fear at this stage from Xibalba is teleporting Iron Order mages with Soul Slay, but that's not high odds from him. Okay. So what's interesting is I went on and on and on last episode about how I thought this was a bad idea for Jotunheim to attack Ashdod, because it would be a long war, and all of this, that, and the other. And here it is. He just moves his armies to the border, and Ashdod gives him stuff for free. So might not have been as bad of an idea as I thought.
Maybe not, but if he loses his capital in the process,
yeah, that's true.
It's going to be game over.
That's true.
And how is he not going to lose his capital now? Like, how?
Okay, so we've got to talk about the elephant in the room, which is this big fucking army.
Like, that's might be a one-turn crack. Oh, and okay, so first he magic phased in the Kraken.
Okay, and it's just PD that includes an elephant. I think we know how that goes. But then Jotunheim gets lucky enough to ping it, so he at least knows what's here. A diseased Jade Sorceress.
Okay, so leftover remnants.
Yeah.
And boom. That was over. And gargoyles.
Gargoyles? That's not something you see often.
Not too often.
Interesting. I mean, they're kind of nice because they're pretty good distraction chaff at the back. They don't heal, which kind of sucks. But they have 20 protection, so they can kind of land in the back. And there used to be things you could do with them, too, where I've seen gargoyle thugs. You gift of reason them, and then I think they have arm slots, so I think you can put items on them. Yeah.
Could be.
Or divine name, maybe. And
that's a very large army.
Oi.
And it's not all junk.
No, he's got some junk. He's got some ghouls. He's got a bunch of these wave warriors in the front, which are spread out to reduce any kind of evocation stuff. Then a bunch of his sacreds, which have magic weapons and a strength bonus here in the middle.
And a few magic mechanical men. Just a few.
Yeah, and these guys will probably mess a Scrotty up. I mean, 24 magic damage with 15 attack.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to thug into. Right. And I kind of want to see what he's bringing for mages. He's got what looks like... Oh, interesting. He's been putting shrouds on most of his mages.
Okay.
Wait, why is that? For Farcaster, huh?
Probably,
and a flame focus staff. Incinerate, you have to be fire 3, right? Or is it fire 2? I think it's fire 3.
Incinerate.
No, this is...
Just a second.
I think this is Sulfur Haze, is what he's going to do with this.
Probably, yeah. Incinerate is fire 3, so he could Phoenix Power with 1 gem, but that's not enough.
Yeah. What's the base path? Is it fire?
Hang on, I have to look up Sulfur Haze.
Oh, yeah.
It's fire air. So yeah. So he's going to Phoenix Power and then Sulfur Haze.
Right. And because he's got this Flame Focus staff plus his Farcaster Bless, he's going to have Farcaster... Well, I don't know why it's not showing stacking.
Well, the base range of Sulfur Haze is 30 already. So that's just about battlefield wide with the extra.
Well, yeah, it's going to be almost double. It's going to be plus 75, so it's going to be now like 50-something, so you're right.
Yeah, that's pretty much all the way across. So he's got quite a few of these. Another one of these guys. So basically, it looks like 3 artillery distance Sulfur Haze casters. Hard to know what he's going to do with that. Serpent's Blessing or Relief.
Lifelong Protection and some gems. This almost looks like a Merc, though.
Okay, those are just priests.
Hey, whoops. Oh, my goodness. This is going to be, I guess, a Soul Slay spammer. which is going to mess up Scrotty. That, like, just having this guy in your army means Scrotty can fuck off.
Well, that's a lot of penetration.
Yeah. And then some water mages, and then these are probably just buffers and then frozen heart casters. More mystics that are probably going to be in a communion. This guy to do earth buffs probably on this core.
Probably. That's what it looks like.
Air Communion Master. Hard to say what he's going to do with that. He could potentially have Fog Warriors now. Though that's not enough gems for it.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
My dog's scratching at the door. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, very, very serious army. And the siege strength here...
Pretty hefty.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a 2-turn pop, maybe 3-turn on his cap. So there might be enough time for this army to get back, but definitely not enough time for it to take this fort and get back.
But then when it gets back, it's on the outside. It's got to battle its way through.
Well, I think you can... Yeah, you're right. You can be gym baited.
It's going to be rough.
I don't know if he can honestly win the fight. I mean, he's way behind in tech. I don't think... I mean, especially if it's the Sulfur Haze thing. If he does that Communion Ball cluster he did against Vanheim, I think the Sulfur Haze will mess that up.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I guess one or two turns, we're going to see big action.
Yeah,
so there's just a basic...
I know some people had wanted to see the Pelagian thugs he was using. So this guy is a Scrotty killer. It's got a Flesh Eater and an Axe of Hate, and then some protection gear, and reintegration. So
enlarged.
Yeah, and he's probably going to do Mist Form. Yeah, and that'll be enough to kill PD with the. Yeah. But it would also kill a Scrotty.
Yeah, it would. That's pretty basic.
Yeah, I'll just see what the mage is doing here. Yeah.
Just.
Quickness.
Just quickness. So just some buffing.
Yeah.
A little bit of buffing.
Yeah. Were there any battles we missed for these guys? I don't think so.
Not particularly, no.
Okay. We also have a message from Xibalba. Hi, remembering to do this again. With Razor's Edge defensive win at my fort, sieged by Ashdod, a small hope is rising that I can keep his pretender god tied up there much longer. Destroying my lab to prepare for the worst, I will also stack stuff inside the fort that will hopefully stop the next storm attempt. Meanwhile, I'm recruiting much more troops to fight his without the threat of a teleporting glyph. We'll have to make a Berlin air bridge to bring gems to the fort, which is a pain because it requires planning in advance more than one turn. Okay.
All right. So, well, that's an interesting decision to burn his lab.
Yeah, I mean, he's had so many defeats back to back. I can understand it because it doesn't seem this is going to be his fort for long.
But what he's trying to do is keep that glyph stuck there for a long time.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Because now he's got to win the storm and then build a lab before the glyph can move. So it's not a long time, but 2 or 3 turns of that glyph not teleporting on top of him would be useful.
Yeah.
I could have a real quick bio break. Be right back.
And so Ashdod raided here, and I think Xibalba was maybe thinking he would just use an add-on or something, because he had somebody scripted here just to do Gifts of Heaven. Didn't end up doing much. And then over this way... Oh, we have a big fight here. Okay, this is exciting, because I think this province is... Well, I won't say. We've got the same thing we've had before, except now it looks like they have bodyguards. A bunch of Frozen Heart casters at the front. These mages all split up to avoid any kind of evocations. And then we have a bunch of white mages, etc. and stuff here at the back. Don't know if he'll do the communion slave thing. Or a Sabbath, or if he will use them. So far he has not been doing Sabbaths, but we'll see. I was thinking he should.
Okay.
So this is a proper battle here between one of the medium Ashdod forces. We've got Quagmire going up from Xibalba, which is something they do very well because a lot of their units have swamp survival.
Yeah, and it's you know, if you can combine it with other kinds of fatigue play, it's effective.
Yeah. We still don't have any evidence of a Sabbath going up, which is one of the things I was... Oh, no, here's one guy in the Sabbath.
Okay.
4 slaves. Okay, so there's a Sabbath. Okay. I think this is the first Sabbath we've seen from them. Or the first one I've noticed, at least. Which means we probably have some big spells about to go up.
Well, those wolves slowed things down a bit. They kind of busted up the formation.
Yeah. Ooh, and then Wailing Wind's coming out. Oof.
The flaming slingers.
Oh no, the Anakites have already run. GG.
Oh no. Yeah.
Wailing Winds. Have a bad dice roll, you're in trouble. It's gonna be a massacre, Maryland.
Yeah, I think so. Well,
The slingers around.
a lot of them are getting.
Yeah.
A lot of them are getting away.
That's true.
The issue will be, do the Magi get away? And so far, they're getting away.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to lose much. I mean, there'll be some losses in the retreat, but
Yeah.
mostly they just ran away.
Yeah, you're
so
right.
the losses were not
You lost an add-on.
1 A-dot.
And most of the Anakites actually got
Anakite.
killed. Almost all the Anakites got killed. How about that?
They did. They did.
I wasn't expecting that. It looks like the Anakites got away.
Yeah.
They were the first to run.
Well, I guess the risk now is Ashdod's not going to really be able to send out these little armies anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that certainly shows what happens when, Ashdod tries to do low commitment stuff. Like, this was pretty low commitment for him.
Relatively.
And pretty high commitment. Like, Xibalba sees the writing on the wall that they're in deep shit, and they're mobilizing like huge portions of their mage corps as Ashdod pushes in.
Right.
So that's interesting.
Okay. Well,
So Ashdod fighting back.
yes. Xibalba as well fighting.
Oh,
back.
that's what I mean. The Xibalba fighting
Yeah.
back, yeah.
Quite effectively. That was quite an effective. That was a good layout. His map placement was well thought through.
Yeah.
You know, the little squads of wolves actually had a significant effect, the winter wolves, in just blocking some of the forward movement and busting up the Anakite formation.
Yep. So we'll see. This has taken a little bit of wind out of the sails of Ashdod, but I think we're probably towards the end of this episode. Can you think of anyone we haven't covered?
Just did anything happen at Bandar?
I
We have to end.
Yeah.
We have to end every session with, "Oh my God, Bandar's still there."
Yeah. And he stuck his little head out, and that's about it. But yeah.
Good grief. That's funny.
The monkeys live.
I think that's it. Who is actually completely out of the game now? Could you just?
Yes,
it's
sir.
3 nations that are actually done, right? 1, 2,
Naba
3.
and Mictlan and Pythium, yeah. And then on Death's
Right.
Edge is
Agartha,
Vanarus, and Bandar Log. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you once again for joining me, Maryland.
You're most welcome. That was a big one.
It was a
but
big one.
We might end up having to split these in 2 now.
Oh, no, don't say it. Don't say it. We'll never get
Okay.
done.
I won't.
We might
All
have
right.
to, though. All right. Later, guys.
Bye, guys.